Welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are continuing our coverage of the 2014 NBA playoffs right now with Troy West from AllPlaysWin.com. We are going to be covering every game with Troy, and we covered game one. No surprise. Troy got that one right, recommending a play on the Spurs. He also likes the Spurs in the series. Now we're going to take a look at game two. Troy, thanks for being back with us.
Hey, thanks a lot, Pete. Yeah, an outstanding game to say the least. I got to say, for quite a while, I was on the edge of my seat, but the Spurs pulled it out in the end. A controversial game to many, especially if you had the Heat, but nonetheless, a cover and a W for AllPlaysWin.com.
Yeah, for sure. And, regardless of the outcome, season gamblers will be impressed that you recommended a play on the Spurs at -4. The line closed, I think, 5.5, and also on the series price at -123. It closed significantly higher than that as well from what I saw. So tell us a little bit about AllPlaysWin.com. How are things going at your site recently?
Pete, as I've spoken earlier, outstanding. Yesterday we hit our top baseball play of the week as we hit the under in the Kansas City-St. Louis game. That was Ventura and Michael Wacha. We've got a big play going on this series, Pete, with the San Antonio Spurs. We also had a big play on game one. Things have just been outstanding. I encourage people to come take a look, allplayswin.com.
All right, awesome. Congratulations on your success, Troy. Very, very impressed. You've been with us a long time, and I'm very flattered and proud to have you as a regular guest on our shows. All right, game two, though, you're not going to get any Spurs -3, 3.5, 4 opening lines here. It's -4.5 already, total exactly the same, 198.5. I mentioned before that in last year's playoffs, every Spurs home game went over, every Miami Heat home game went under in regulation. So, we basically have the exact same situation as we had in game one, except now the Spurs are up 1-0. What do you like for game two, Troy?
Yeah, Pete, I hate to come out and be so bold to say this, but again, going with the Spurs.
Wow.
Pete, I told people if the NBA don't have a part in this, this series could go 5 games, and I'm serious when I say that. You look at the San Antonio Spurs yesterday, Pete. They turned the ball over damn near 25 times and still won the game by 15 points. This team has so many weapons, Pete. You look at guys that came off the bench yesterday. Guys like Marco Bellinelli had a great game. Patty Mills had a great game. We know how dominant Tim Duncan was. And you look at the Miami Heat and how well they actually played in that game and still lost. LeBron played a good game. Dwayne Wade was on fire. Chris Bosh was knocking down threes. Ray Allen was knocking down threes. I feel like this Heat team really did not have an answer, especially defensively, for this San Antonio Spurs team. And I truly see it going on throughout the series. Pete, if you cut down the 25 turnovers even down to 18, who knows what that score would have been. Right. I like the Spurs to continue to get things done in this series.
Wow. It just seems like 4.5 points is just a hell of a lot of points to be giving to, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade in the playoffs down 1-0.
It does. It absolutely does. I just think this is a Spurs team, Pete, that is so complete and so ready for this opportunity. Another guy I didn't even bring up was Manu Ginobili, who was outstanding in that game. This team just has so many weapons. I feel like they have a pretty good game plan going into this series. I'm not sure that this Heat team can hang for 7 games. I sure as heck don't think it's going to happen in game 2 either. Pete, I had several people call me yesterday when that line was creeping up to 5, 5.5 that were scared shitless to touch the Spurs. And we saw what happened. I know the LeBron thing definitely had an outcome into it, but Spurs still prevail. They just have so many weapons. I love San Antonio. We'll go with them again in game 2, Pete.
All right. Well, I guess if you got to take one side or the other, if you don't take the Spurs at -5.5, then you're taking the Heat at +4.5. And, as dominant and as an awesome of a machine as the Spurs appear to be right now, maybe that's a scarier proposition than just taking the Spurs and laying 4.5 points. Troy West from AllPlaysWin.com. Congrats on your continued success, and thanks so much for giving us your opinion on game 2.